everybody. Happy Saturday night. I'm Angenette Levy, and welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, welcome. Thanks for joining me. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. On your way in, if you would help me out, please hit that thumbs up, the like button. The thumbs up really helps the video in the YouTube universe. If you've come here before and are a regular, welcome back. I love having you here. And if you're watching on replay, thank you so much for watching on replay. And do me a big favor. If you would, drop in the comments where you are watching from, city, country, state, wherever you wish to put in there, because I love going back and seeing where everybody's watching from. We get some people mostly from the United States, but we get people from Australia and Great Britain, Canada. We've had some people from some other countries too, which is really exciting. South Africa. I think we had somebody claiming they were watching from Russia one time, which I'm trying to figure out how that would work. VPN maybe or something like that. But anyway, thank you for watching no matter where you're watching from. There was a lot going on this week in the world of crime. So I thought we would do like a big round robin. The big thing that happened this week, or at least yesterday, and it's unfortunate you couldn't watch it, but I'm going to show you something that was played in court. And I'm going to show you a courtroom sketch of Sean Combs. Sean Diddy Combs. I like to call him Puffy because I feel like everybody who really knows him from way back when, and even when he was a kid, apparently his nickname was Puff. They called him Puff. So that's where the whole Puffy thing came from. Also, big shout out to the mods for being here tonight. Thank you, mods, for being here. But Sean Diddy Combs, as you know, had this big federal trial earlier this year. It was in the summer, took up much of the summer. It was supposed to be over by July 4th. And I believe it was over by the July 4th holiday weekend. That's right, because I remember I was in Boise for the Koberger change of plea hearing, and that's when the verdict came down. He was found not guilty of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. However, he was found guilty of 2 counts of transportation for the purposes of prostitution, meaning he transported people across state lines to engage in prostitution. It doesn't seem like you really see people prosecuted for that often. You do in sex trafficking cases and stuff like that, but the person who comes to mind for me is somebody who did such a thing, transported somebody in order to, have them engage in prostitution with them, was former Governor Eliot Spitzer. He literally had a female escort, sex worker, whatever, go from one state to another to engage in sex with him, actually more than one. They called him client number 9. But he was never prosecuted for it. So Sean Combs' attorneys have basically said this is a charge, violations of the Mann Act, that this whole thing is steeped and rooted in racism from the past. And, he should have gotten just 14 months. They wanted him to get 14 months. The feds were like, this is a bad guy. We want him to get 11 years. Sean Combs wrote a lengthy letter to the judge, basically saying, this is all my fault. I've done horrible things, but I've done every bad thing. I've done all this horrible stuff. It's all my fault. Taking responsibility. His attorneys all spoke, at length yesterday. One of them, Nicole Westmoreland from Atlanta, she actually cried. Really, she cried. Apparently said he was just a man. But Sean Combs then got up and spoke. His children spoke too. But I got to show you the video. A lot of people are ticked about the sentence that Sean Combs got. They think it was not harsh enough. At sentencing, the judge can take into consideration other stuff. He saw all of the evidence presented before him. He could have given him the full 11 years. He really could have. But he didn't. So I'm going to show you the video that Sean Combs' people, his defense, played I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'll show you a little bit of it. It's literally like this slick, highly produced video showing all of the good things that he has done in his life. Judge, forget about the baby oil, forget about all this stuff. Forget about the baby oil, forget about the Astroglide, all of this stuff. They wanted the judge to see this. And this is this video that they put together. And this shows him with his children. And
what you've given to the world, I don't think you know, man.
When my baby cries.
You gotta give her a bottle then. Know that you mean something to people. Know that you mean something to people. Like you live somewhere in people's heart. My nose fell off!
Now they're basically just showing, like, look, he's a dad. He's helped people. He's done some good things. You know, look, he's helped people. Look at him. He's doing a puppet thing with his child. Look at what a good guy he is. So they're trying to paint him as somebody who he may have done some bad stuff, but he's also done some really good things. And he has done some good things. I mean, but does he, is he Jekyll Hyde? Does he just want to do good things sometimes for his image? I mean, he's very image conscious. I mean, he's an image conscious guy. He's like a PR kind of guy.
Thank you. You wear it? You inspire, you energize, and you've left that for the rest of the existence of this planet, man.
One thing about great producers is they
and I kind of wonder how was some of this taped after he knew he was under investigation. I mean, sure, some of it probably was taped before that. He's somebody who always had a camera rolling, but I wonder if some of this was taped after he was recorded after he knew he was under investigation. But they basically are just trying to say, look, I mean, and this is like highly produced. This is slick. This is almost like a campaign video. This is something that like a politician would put out.
They make you want to do better and be better about what you do. And he made me feel like I could do anything and go anywhere.
I'm from New York. I love New York. I love the city of New York. I love the children of New York. I wanted to do.
And, that was part of the testimony at the trial, too, how Sean Combs could make you feel in 1 minute like you were the biggest thing in the world, the most important person in the room. And then the next minute or, the next hour, he could just be totally different. Very much Jekyll Hyde.
Do something good. I wanted to get my generation and the hip hop community behind us. They come through in a big way. And we wanted to raise some money for the children of New York City for health and education. We have a huge education crisis. And, this is just a start. It's something we're going to be committed to. I'm going to be committed to for a lifetime. And it's no better way than taking it to the streets. It's a beautiful city.
He's running a marathon. Totally, fit guy, healthy guy.
Running all around the city is going to be painful. It's going to be rough. But, if we get through it, then it'll show kids and everybody else that, finish what you started and you can do anything you put your mind to. Any of y'all go to public school?
Yeah.
He opened some charter schools in New York. And, he has done some really good things. I mean, but I once had somebody tell me that not all defendants are completely bad. Like there may be defendants who have some good parts of them. He's no longer like really a defendant. He's convicted. He's been convicted of this one crime. Well, 2 counts of the same crime. But he, he's done some good things, but I had somebody tell me one time, that there's no such thing as a perfect victim. I mean, some are, I think. I don't think that's exactly true, but not all victims are perfect. And this is what this person, she was a criminologist talking to me about this very case, that not all defendants are just evil monsters all the time, and not all victims are perfect, so take that into account.
Y'all running to raise money for your schools, so y'all get more books and computers and stuff like that. I just feel like it's important that us, young adults of power, that we look out for y'all. And we utilize our power to make sure y'all all right in the future. Put everything you can into your work. Don't think the cool thing is not to do your work. Don't think the cool thing is to hang on the corner with your friends and to talk about stuff that ain't gonna protect your future.
What did you learn about him as a man who was taking up a new sport?
Well, I was actually very impressed. A lot of people think it's just a celebrity stunt, that he isn't serious about his running. He is as serious about his running, has been the last 9 weeks, as a lot of these guys in the lead pack. I mean, he's really devoted and dedicated himself to running. He's had some.
So that's just a little taste of this video. I mean, he's running the New York City Marathon. I'm going to fast forward toward the past the marathon stuff. He's talking here.
So that you pursuing your dream, that you staying focused. Let's go. Let's keep going forward. Let's go means let's be positive. Let's take it up another notch. Let's go spend time with our kids. Let's go. Let's give thanks to God. Let's go. Let's turn it up. Let's get in the vocal booth. Let's stop procrastinating. Let's go. Let's understand what it's going to take to achieve that dream.
So, he's a kid who grew up in Harlem, came from, humble beginnings. His mom moved to Mount Vernon. There have been things said about what was going on with Janice Combs in her home. I won't repeat them here.
Started out just like you guys. I come from New York. I grew up in Harlem. I used to have to wear a uniform every day. Had to get up early in the morning, had to travel to go to school. I worked hard, just like you guys are working. This country and this world we live in may have planned for y'all. I didn't listen to that, and I don't want y'all to listen to it either. Y'all are great. Y'all are kings. Y'all are queens. Y'all are leaders.
So, I mean, I think he can be very inspirational, and I think he did, he probably did work hard. And but I also think he's somebody who was exposed to a lot of things he should never have been exposed to as a child. So, well, that's enough of that for now. He got 50 months. The judge gave him 50 months, Judge Subramanian. The defense was not happy. The defense apparently thought, from what I'm hearing, that I'm surprised that they would even think this, but they apparently thought, and Sean Combs thought, there was a good possibility that he might go home. Like, he had a plane, according to his former publicist, Rob Shooter, who I've interviewed before. He wrote on his Substack that Sean Combs had a plane idling, a plane waiting to take him to Miami. Like, he thought he was getting out of there yesterday. I find that shocking, because the way they were talking and everything all day long, I thought for sure they thought that the judge was going to throw the book at him. But Rob Shooter, who worked for him back in the day, after the whole 1999 whatever nightclub shooting and all that jazz, he writes, "I've known Sean Diddy Combs for years, not just the mogul in tailored suits, not the chart-topping rapper, not the brand builder who made himself a global empire. I've known the man, for all his bravado, has always carried shadows, and that man has never truly changed." Now that he stands facing a decade in prison, convicted of transporting women for prostitution, cleared of racketeering and sex trafficking, yes, but guilty nonetheless. His legacy now forever marked by the image of him striking Cassie, the woman he claimed to love. That tape is not a rumor, it is a reality, and no letter to a judge will erase it. He had also written that letter to the judge that he issued, that was filed on Thursday, rather. In his plea for mercy, Combs wrote, I lost my way. I got lost in the drugs and the excess. My downfall was rooted in my selfishness. I have been humbled and broken to my core. Prison will change you or kill you. I choose to live. It sounds poetic, almost rehearsed, but to anyone who has watched powerful men fall, it is nothing new. Contrition that arrives on the eve of a sentencing is not contrition at all. It is strategy, a performance, a last-ditch attempt to soften the hand of justice. Let's be honest, if there had been no conviction, no headlines, no video evidence burned into the public consciousness, would Diddy be penning apologies? Would he be speaking of humility and second chances? No. The only thing that has changed is that he got caught. And Rob ends this with, he is not sorry for what he did. He is sorry that the world finally saw it, and that's the truth. I find that to be very interesting from Rob Shooter because he knows Sean Combs very well. So Sean Combs was sentenced to 50 months in prison. He's already done 13 months. His people had asked for like around 14 months, I think. So they were like, oh, just let him out, Judge. You know, let him out in a month or something. I was not sure that was going to happen. I thought it was a possibility, but I was like, I don't know. You know, like, I don't know. So his lawyers were not happy after court. And, you know, it's their job to advocate for him. It's, of course, their job to advocate for him. And I'm sure they've been paid handsomely to advocate for him. And that's their job. I mean, these are really good lawyers, right? I mean, they got him off the top two charges. The racketeering should never have been filed in the first place. I don't think. I'm not sure they just did. It just never felt like, you know, I could see where they were going with it, but it never felt like RICO. When I think of RICO, I think of what it was designed for, and that's the mob. In a way, he had his own little mob, yes. But we're not talking like money laundering and all this stuff. And maybe you don't have to have all that. But I saw what they were doing and I saw where they were going, but I see why the jury acquitted on the RICO. So I'm going to play for you his attorneys outside of court afterwards. I mean, they looked pretty bummed out and pretty mad, and they say they are going to appeal. So here we go. Mark Agnifilo did the talking since he's the lead guy. Brian Steele, I couldn't tell the whole time if he was trying not to laugh or just trying to, like, he wanted to say something, but he kind of looked like he was trying not to laugh to me.
We are planning to appeal. I want to hear that, bro. We are planning to appeal. We think we have strong bases to appeal. Yeah. The strongest basis is that the jury reached a verdict on coercion. It found there was not coercion, and I think the judge said coercion today as a basis for a sentence at least a dozen times. We think that is unconstitutional. We think that a jury verdict should mean more than our jury's verdict seems to mean, and so we are planning to appeal.
Absolutely. Cross appeal. What would happen in that regard if they filed a cross appeal and then could Sean Diddy Combs get a higher sentence?
He would not get a higher sentence, and they're not gonna cross appeal. We're gonna appeal. We think we're right, and they'll respond to the appeal, and it'll be decided by the Second Circuit as soon as.
Tell us about the conversation you had with your client after the sentencing.
Consensual. The judge clearly thought the sexual encounters weren't consensual.
Because he's biased.
Make of his remarks.
He's biased.
Brian Steele is just like, I'm like, will you just say something, please? Please say something. But Mark Agnifilo is just standing there doing all the talking. And maybe Brian Steele wants to say something. Maybe he's just taking it all in because you got people just yelling all kinds of stuff there. I hate that when you're in a scrum like that and people just keep yelling stuff and you just want to ask a real question. It's just so annoying.
Anyway, I'm happy to go. So we think that's just absolutely inconsistent with the jury's verdict. I mean, the jury's verdict was resoundingly clear. There was no sex trafficking. There was no racketeering. Everything was consensual. Everything was adult, which is why he was convicted only of the prostitution offense. What we feel happened today was that the judge acted as a 13th juror, one that we did not choose, and that he second-guessed the jury's verdict.
Well, at least the judge was open-minded. At least the judge was open-minded for both sides. Gave consideration.
Did you have a chance to talk to Sean Combs? Did you have a chance to talk to your client? Can you tell us about the conversation after the sentence?
How was he?
How's your client?
How was he?
Impact sex work points.
But he's okay. But he's okay.
Come on, man.
Stop pushing people, y'all.
Y'all making it a circus now, bro.
Space out. He does feel justice was served, though. He said he takes accountability, and I felt like Diddy definitely took accountability for.
I'm just like watching this for like the third time now. And Brian Steele, I'm like, just say something, please. Like, I don't know why he's not saying anything, but it's just crazy to me. Dolly Talk, thank you for the super chat. Why did he have so much baby oil? What was it used for? So confused. Well, if you're late to this party, the baby oil was used for the FOs, the freak offs, basically the sex performances. Sean Combs was ordering lots of baby oil, like literally by apparently the truckload. And he had lots of it. And he wanted the women and the men who were taking part to apply it. He liked them to be covered in a sheen of sorts. So that's why they had so much baby oil. So there's that. If you're late to the party there. So I'm going to continue to play this. Here you go. And then we'll move on.
For everything, sir. And I would like to just let you know that everything was not consensual, sir. Please don't say that. It was not consensual. Even Diddy admitted.
This is the defense team, man. Let's ask them a question.
Yes, but he did allege.
All right, Queen. All right, Queen. All right.
Can you talk to us about talking to Sean after?
I'm not. Obviously, we spoke to Sean. I'm not going to talk about what Sean and we discussed. It's obviously it's a privilege.
We all feel comfortable.
And tell us what location are you going to recommend?
No matter which community it impacts.
What are the next steps?
Why weren't the sex workers?
I don't think that these lawyers accept payment in baby oil of Taya Toys.
On trial today. Hey, hold on, brother. Where were the escorts? Stop, bro.
Thank you, guys.
Here's the question I heard. What's next?
Why weren't the escorts
is that we're going to try and find the right facility for Mr. Combs. We're going to ask the judge to recommend that. We are very serious about pursuing an appeal. So we have a number of things all going on at the same time. I think that's all for
And you got
me.
about 14 days to start doing that?
If my colleagues
Well,
want
you
to
guys
continue to ask questions.
Put that in motion. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
14 days to put that in
Thank
motion.
you, guys. Great job, guys.
Sean, did he come?
Okay, so they say they're appealing. They are going to appeal. I'm not sure that's like the best move on their part, but that's what they are going to do. They say they're going to do. I mean, that's probably what he wants. he's gonna, if he gets 50 months, he's already done 13. And if he does, like, I don't know, I think at federal sentences, you can get out early, you can get credits, you can do stuff to get credits. I don't know. I just don't see him being such a changed man based on how the faces he was making during the trial and what I was told, that I think he would get out and he probably maybe has somebody waiting. I wonder if he's still paying Jane's rent and all that. Would she like engage in this all over again? I don't know. I'm kind of, because she got up there and testified, but she was kind of still with him before he got arrested. So there's this like weird, like she's like thinks she's in love with him stuff going on. And I'm sure he would have gone right back to the freak offs. So look at this picture, guys. This is a courtroom sketch of him. He dropped to his knees after the judge sentenced him to 50 months. He apparently had some gigs booked down in Miami and things like that. So he, I guess, thought he was getting out, or there was a good chance that he was getting out. Maybe he just thought, he had inmates writing letters on his behalf to the judge. He's helped me with this. He's helped me with that. Apparently, even corrections officers at the MDC wrote letters or attested to the fact that he had done some good things in jail. And I think that's great. Wonderful. Great. Continue to do those things, because you can be an inspirational guy. You know, you can be somebody who inspires people. We heard about that testimony at the trial. He's somebody who can make you feel like the most important person in the room. Do that in prison. Do some good things. Help those people in prison. Like, let them know that you went from Harlem to Mount Vernon to where you got, I mean, not to where you are, but you were able to do some stuff, did a lot of stuff. Like, let's not get into it. But, you know, I just think, man, you know, I don't even know if 50 months is going to turn him around. I think he's like a sex addict. I think he's a major sex addict. I think he was probably exposed to stuff when he was a younger person, a young kid. He even talks about losing his virginity at a very young age in this one video that's on YouTube, Sean Combs in black and white. I mean, he talks about, he was sexually active at a very young age. He was exposed to a lot of sex stuff at a very young age. That is not healthy for children. So I think this whole thing, like, I don't think it's just the drugs. I think he's a drug addict, but I think he's a sex addict too. And he's got to like undo that. I don't know if he really wants to undo it, because I think if he had gotten out of prison, he would have just gone back to doing this. Maybe he would have done it a different way. But I don't know. I just think, I think, dude, maybe he'll be successful on appeal. I just don't know. But he got 50 months. A lot of people say that's not enough time for what he was convicted of. He could have gotten 11 years. He got 50 months is 4 years and 2 months. I don't know. The judge split the difference there a little bit. So, you know, for as much as people were like, the judge hates him, the judge was biased. I mean, if the judge was like really biased, because I think he went by the sentencing guidelines and he said he took into account his mother's age and some of the good things he had done, and also the fact that he has these children. If the judge was that biased, he probably would have thrown him away for a lot longer of a time. I don't know. I meant to start a poll for that, guys. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that he should have gotten 11 years as a first-time offender? This is the first time. I mean, yes, he has a past, and he was acquitted of the one thing back in the late 90s, the nightclub thing. But based on all of this other stuff and being convicted of those 2 counts, should he have gotten more than 48 months. I don't know. Or 50 months. I'm sorry. I'm not sure about that. Just kind of my feeling on it. Let's move on now, if you don't mind. Let's talk about Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson is accused of murdering Charlie Kirk. And Tyler Robinson now has 3 lawyers. And, excuse me, there are a lot of people, I mentioned this on Wednesday Nights Live, who are really, really into some of the things. I mean, we can talk about weaknesses in the case, weirdness in the case. The whole thing is weird. I'm not going to lie to you. The text messages, I've told you, I think they're weird. But at the same time, I don't know. We need more information. I think as it stands right now, we're talking his DNA on the trigger of the gun, his DNA on the screwdriver found on the roof at Utah Valley University. And I'm talking about everything we know from the feds and the probable cause document, the information filed by the prosecutors in Utah. We've got the weird text messages that we've already talked about, how those are weird. There's just something about those. They're just weird. I don't know. We have his parents allegedly turning him in, thinking, hey, and calling a friend who was a sheriff's deputy and saying, we think that's our kid in the surveillance images. This whole thing. Now, there are people on YouTube, people who are kind of famous, who are getting a lot of views, going on every day saying, oh, I'm hearing this isn't true and that's not true. And they are whipping up a frenzy and getting tons of clicks and views, saying all that. I know this is not true. I know this is not true. I don't know where this person is getting her information, but man, is she getting all these views and stuff. And I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to be open-minded about this, but just spit it out. Okay. Like if you not revealing sources and all this stuff. Oh, interesting. Somebody is saying, did you hear about the picture the FBI put out of the gun? They're backtracking. It's made of plastic. A real World War II Mauser would be made of wood. Okay. I don't remember them ever actually putting a photo of the gun out. I remember seeing photos of the gun. But the FBI, I never saw the FBI actually put out a photo of the gun. I saw a news agency saying they obtained a photo. So, like, a source gave them a photo. But I'm questioning that photo that was put out. So, I'm just kind of confused by a lot of this. Now I've got the wrong banner up. Sorry about that, guys. So, Tyler Robinson the other day, and I talked to a lawyer in Utah. I thought it was so bizarre. Last weekend, we got an alert that came out that said Tyler Robinson, who's accused of the aggravated murder of Charlie Kirk, was allowed to appear in court virtually from the jail. He was not forced to appear in person, but his lawyers appeared in person in court, and he was allowed to have his camera off. What? I've never heard of such a thing. You can waive your appearance, but come on now. So he has 3 lawyers now, 3 death qualified lawyers. Kathy Nestor is the lead. Kathy Nestor represents Corey Richins, and Corey Richins is accused of murdering her husband, Eric, by poisoning him in Utah. He also has Richard Novak, who famously, I believe, represented Lyle Menendez in the first trial, was part of that legal team. And then this Michael Burt And if I messed that up, that name, I apologize. I had a bunch of notes written down about that. So I'm going to put up a little bit of this hearing where he was allowed to not appear. I'm kind of like, just go to Walmart and get your client some some pants and a shirt so he can appear in court. That's all you got to do. Just go to Walmart. Maybe they just wanted to keep him off TV. Maybe there's more going on. Maybe he's like, I don't want to be on TV, whatever. Go to Walmart and get your client some clothes so he can appear in court in street clothes and not the green turtle suit. So here's the judge. The judge is a newer judge, but he seems like he wants to be very fair and be like, hey, we're going to do this right. I'm not going to be some buffoon. That's the vibe I'm getting from him. So I'm going to play a little bit of this and we'll put it on. We'll speed it up a little bit so we're not here all night watching this.
Case 251403576, State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson. Counsel, could you enter your appearances, please?
Chad Grunander, Jeff Gray, Lauren Hunt, Ryan McBride, and Chris Ballard for the state, Your Honor.
Good morning, counsels.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kathy Nestor, Michael Burt, and Richard Novak on behalf of Mr. Robinson.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning to you all. And to the jail. Do we have Mr. Robinson present?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Robinson, good morning to you as well. Counsel, as we begin, I have entered orders allowing the admittance of Mr. Michael Burt, Mr. Richard Novak, pro hoc vice, and appointing them along with Ms. Catherine Nestor to be Mr. Robinson's counsel. The court enters findings that the combined experience of counsel meets and exceeds the requirements of Rule 8. Counsel, do we have, what would we like to accomplish today?
I have two items, Judge. I just wanted to make a record that under Rule 16 of the Utah Rules of Criminal Procedure with respect to discovery, the state is required to provide to the defense within 5 days of the defense's request the discovery that we relied on in making this charging decision. We'll be prepared to do that, so we'll look for a defense counsel's request or the next day or so, and we'll provide that to the defense.
Thank you.
We also, for the court's information, we met this morning with the defense team briefly in our office to talk about discovery and the process. So we'll be working together. There is a substantial amount of discovery in this case, Your Honor. It's voluminous, to say the least, and we're working on a process where we can exchange information as quickly as possible and be efficient in that process. The other item I had, Your Honor, I saw that over the weekend, there was a protection order, pretrial and trial publicity order entered by Your Honor. And I just was seeking some clarification on page 2, at the end of the first paragraph. It reads, to that end, lawyers participating in the investigation or litigation of this case shall inform all witnesses, investigators, consultants, staff members, or other members of the prosecution or defense teams that the prohibitions contained in this order. The state, we're seeking some clarification with respect to the phrase all witnesses, Your Honor. There are a number of witnesses that have yet to be identified that would likely be used in the state's case. This occurred in front of 2,000 to 3,000 students at Utah Valley University. So we're in the process of identifying those witnesses. And so those individuals are presently unknown right now. So we're looking for a little clarification from the court. And I suppose we're not going to make any arguments today, but there may be some follow-up pleadings that we may need to file.
Thank you. Ms. Nestor, did you want to be heard about that issue?
No, Your Honor, we would defer to whatever the court wants to advise them on that matter. I mean, I think it's fairly obvious that we don't know who all the witnesses are in this case yet. I think it's just important that if anyone is identified that they have information about this order. So I think other than that, we wouldn't weigh in on any other matter.
Thank you. Well, thank you for that question. That's an important one. The court will rule that as the witnesses become known to each side, that information is conveyed to abide by this order. Obviously, there are potentially many witnesses, and so it's not the expectation that you would be able to do that up front. But as they become known, I would ask that you inform them of this. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing from the state. Nothing else, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Nestor.
Thank you, Your Honor. We recognize that we are here today for a waiver hearing. It is not our intent to waive a preliminary hearing in this matter. We are going to be seeking that one be set. However, based largely on what the state just referred to as far as the voluminous nature of the discovery materials, we do think it would be prudent to simply reset for another conference, another waiver hearing, a little bit down the road where we have a better idea once we start seeing the discovery as it rolls in. I do recognize we're going to be.
Okay, so they're going to get tons of discovery. That's basically what she's saying. They're going to get hard drives. I mean, I don't know how many. Think about all the digital tips they got, the FBI. So they're going to get all that stuff. They're going to get all of the video from around the Utah Valley University. So they're going to have a team of investigators who go through that. They're going to get all this crime lab data from, the DNA analysis of the gun, ATF reports. ATF handled the processing of the gun, all that jazz. They're going to get everything. And so they're at least going to get everything they used to put the information together that they filed with the court to charge Tyler Robinson. So she knows they don't know anything yet. All they know is what is in that information. And then they're going to get a hard drive. Who knows how many terabytes it'll be, but it could be a few terabytes, especially with all the video and all the tips that they got. I mean, this wasn't an investigation, at least, up until arrest. It wasn't like it went on for weeks. The manhunt, if you will, lasted 33 hours. So they got the guy, but they got a lot of video and photographic evidence submitted to them. And so they're going to get some hard drives, and they're going to have to start going through all of that. And they have to get ready for a preliminary hearing. And the investigation is ongoing. They're going through this kid's social media, through Tyler Robinson's social media. There are witness interviews. The feds, unfortunately, it's lame, I think, but they do not, at least to my knowledge, unless something's changed recently, they do not audio tape their interviews. They handle these forms that have a number on them. I think they're 302s or something like that. I might be messing that up. It's been a while. But they have to look into all the Discord stuff because Tyler was on Discord, and they're looking at whether or not anybody else was involved in this. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that these people get. He's got Kathy Nestor, as I mentioned. She's handled high profile cases before, and she has a lot of experience. Also, the two people from California. I'm like, okay, so he's got some real pros on his team. Tyler Robinson does. So this is a big case. It's going to be a big case. It seems like it's a pretty straightforward case, but I think they're going to have to look at the evidence and see how it lines up with everything we've been told. Sometimes once you start digging into a case, you find things, and we'll see what happens. But there is this one person on YouTube who I told you has been racking up lots of views lately, who's saying things that basically the story we've been told is all a lie, and that Tyler Robinson is denying he did this. I've seen people putting up his photo next to the surveillance image that was put out, saying that's not the same guy. I don't know. Looks pretty similar to me. The surveillance image looks a little cleaner, no 5 o'clock shadow or anything like that. So I don't know. The whole thing about the gun is weird. We see something he's grabbing when he gets it, jumps off the roof. What would be the towel and everything? It's all weird. Was he, as he's kind of hobbling down the street, did he really have that gun stuffed down his pants, like his pant leg? Weird. Can that gun be disassembled, or was he assembling the scope on top of it with the screwdriver? I don't know. It's all weird, but we'll just have to see how it unfolds. But she's asking for a delay because they don't have any of the discovery yet. They'll get it soon, and they just need to go through it. So we're not having a preliminary hearing in this case for a while. This case is going to take a long time to work its way through the system.
Getting that first batch in 5 days, but it's my understanding from our meeting today that there is massive amounts of digital that is going to be coming, and until we can kind of get our heads around exactly what we're dealing with and how much we need to process, it's going to be difficult for us to give you a reasonable expectation of when we will be ready to do the prelims. So we're asking today that we put that decision off, and maybe we could check in 30 to 60 days and just kind of let the court know where we're at and how much we're looking at and how much time we may need to set a preliminary hearing.
They want a prelim. Yes, they want one, no doubt. They want a preliminary hearing so they can put witnesses on the stand and question them. They totally want a preliminary hearing.
Also, as far
they're not going to waive
as a detention hearing, we are not asking the court to address that issue at this time. Under the statute, the issue is going to come down to the question of whether there's substantial evidence, which right now we're just not in a position at all to be able to even argue to the court. So we are probably going to ask that the court delay that a decision possibly until the time of the prelim. But if it's sooner, we will ask the court for a hearing. But at this time, we are not asking the court to make any decisions on that matter.
Thank you, counsel. In regards to the next hearing date, how about October 30th at 10 a.m.?
That works for the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right.
That's fine for the defense, Your Honor.
All right. Now, as we are at the beginning, anything further from counsel from either side?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
No.
So this judge, he's like a new judge. He's handling a huge case. He's issued an order on pretrial publicity. I'm going to pull that and see what he did. It better not be a gag order. I hate that. I hate that. So I really hope it's just like an advisory thing, like limit your public comments, that type of thing.
Your Honor, thank you.
As we are at the beginning of this case, it is my intent to only speak when I'm needed or it is necessary. But today I do wish to provide guidance and expectations that you can have for this court and wish to enter an order as well. As this case moves forward, Mr. Robinson's constitutional rights will be protected at every stage. He sits before this court presumed innocent, and that presumption remains unless and until each element of every offense charged against him is proved beyond a reasonable doubt. At the same time, and as applicable, victims are entitled under our Constitution to be treated with fairness, respect, and dignity, free from harassment or abuse. Justice demands that both of these principles, the rights of the accused and the rights of victims, be honored without compromise. I remain steadfast in my oath that I made 56 days ago to support and defend the constitutions of the United States and of Utah. I will carry out my duties with fidelity, transparency, and impartiality, treating every person who appears before me with the dignity and respect they are inherently due because they are human beings. Let me be clear. I will not put my finger on the scale of justice. These proceedings will be open to the public, conducted in accordance with the law, and handled with diligence and competence to ensure that justice is never compromised. It is the standing order of this court that Mr. Robinson shall be allowed to appear in person so he can fully engage with his attorneys and participate in these legal proceedings.
I like that. I like that. It shall be the standing order of this court that Mr. Robinson should be able to attend these proceedings. So he's basically saying he should be there. I like that. He's being polite about it, but he's saying this guy needs to attend. This is a death penalty case. His life is on the line. He needs to be here. And he's saying the public will be, this is going to be a public proceeding. So thank God. I think he's laying down the law early. Hopefully we don't see any of the hijinks that we saw in Idaho with the whole, we want you to bar cameras, judge. Somebody, they're showing our client. They're showing him, they showed papers on our desk. Nobody was showing papers on your desk. Nobody was doing that. So hopefully we don't see any of that junk. So I feel like this judge is being like, this is how it's going to go.
Counsel, regardless of who is watching, whether it is the nation or a single individual, we must fulfill our roles with integrity, civility, and diligence. I encourage each of you to give your very best to this case. Neither Mr. Robinson nor the people of Utah deserve anything less than the fair and impartial administration of justice. In regards to the next hearing, counsel, on that October 30th date at 10 a.m., it's the court's intent that it be in person if it be the wish of counsel for the defense for Mr. Robinson to be present.
It is, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Counsel, anything else that we can address today?
Your Honor, we appreciate the court's comments with respect to Your Honor's role in this case. In like matter, we commit to approach this case with integrity, with professionalism and civility.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So anyway, the judge was basically telling them, this is going to be a public proceeding. You know what? Guess what? Your client is charged with a heinous crime. So the camera will probably show him. So I'm hoping that Kathy Nestor, in all her years of experience, being a very experienced attorney, is not like, Judge, they're showing too many shots of my client. Like Judge, I remember when Judge told the cameras to just back off. So they did. He didn't say, don't show him. Of course they're going to show him. He's the subject of the proceedings. Like, of course you're going to get a shot of him walking in. Nobody was like zooming in on him anymore, like the way they said. And I guess they thought that back off meant, I guess everybody thought that, I guess Judge and Ann Taylor thought that meant, oh, they're just not going to show Brian Koberger anymore. No, you said zooming in and stuff, and you didn't like that people were like zooming in and then writing articles about your client and stuff like that. What? Like, and then the prosecutor jumped in and said, "Yeah, we don't want cameras either. Go away. Stop. Just stop. This was a quadruple homicide, a heinous case, and then you want to pull the curtains and do it all in the dark because you've not had a big case before." Nonsense. Nuts. Thank God Judge Hippler, at least he kept the Zoom in there and was like, "Hey guys, knock it off. Quit sealing stuff. Redact it if you need to." I appreciated that. Anyway, there's my rant for the night. So this judge, at least, this judge is like, this will be a public proceeding, open to the public. I'm hoping that means this judge is like, yes, the camera is staying in. Yes, live streaming will be allowed. Sorry, I go on rants about these things, guys, because I've been covering trials, high profile trials now for almost 20 years. And I've seen so much nonsense in my time, and I've covered some really big cases. And it's just like, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. That's all there is to it. Find a prosecutor or a defense attorney who can handle the pressure. That's all I'm saying about that. Anyway, so October 30th is the next date. They're going to go through the discovery that they've received. They're going to go through the discovery that they've received, and then they're going to set a preliminary hearing date. The whole thing about letting him be in with be virtual, appear virtually with the camera off, lame, totally lame. I don't know why that was. I can only think that they didn't like the turtle suit look. So make him go to the courthouse and then put on the stun vest and have the lawyers go to Walmart and buy him a pair of chinos, a pair of khakis, and a dress shirt or a golf shirt. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. So I thought that was silliness. Let's move on now. I'll try not to rant anymore, although these people get me ranting sometimes. Let's move on now to our next case. So I'll keep a close eye on the Charlie Kirk assassination case for you. I'm not going to get all, I'm not going to call names and stuff, but I'm just saying there is a person on YouTube who I've interviewed before who is making a whole lot of money saying the line we're being told is not true. And she's raking it in. I couldn't believe the views the other day, saying she knows all this stuff, but not saying how. So we'll wait to see what comes out. We'll wait to see if what she is reporting is true. Right? I mean, the devil will be in the details. How this evidence holds up under cross-examination. And I'm waiting to see if anybody else is going to be charged in this. Our next case is a horrible, horrible case. This young lady, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, she was 14 and just a really, really a beautiful young girl. She's a girl. She's not a young woman. She's a teenager. Well, her remains, her body, and I've seen so much different reporting about this, so I'm not going to say one thing's true and one is or isn't, but her body was found in the front trunk. That would be under the hood typically, but Teslas have a trunk in the front of the car, much like a Volkswagen Beetle from back in the day had the trunk in the front. Celeste Rivas Hernandez's body, decomposing, dead for several weeks body, was found in the front trunk of a Tesla owned by a rapper named David. He's like 20 years old, young, up and coming rapper. A lot of questions about this case. LAPD is investigating this. This Tesla was found in a tow yard, and apparently the people at the tow yard called the cops because there was like a strange smell coming from the Tesla, and that strange smell was Celeste's decomposing remains. I've done some digging into this, and it appears that Celeste lived with her family in Riverside County, which is outside of LA. And when she was 13, Valentine's Day of 2024, she was reported missing. Her parents reported her missing. Well, apparently there are many police reports where she had run away from home on more than one occasion. I mean, it was like a consistent thing, happened many, many times. And I was reading one article in which her mother was quoted as telling somebody that she believed that Celeste had a boyfriend. Now, we don't know just yet. There's more testing that's being conducted, but we don't know, at least publicly, we don't know Celeste's manner and cause of death. That information has been deferred. So they're waiting for toxicology, they're waiting for other tests, and they've been clear that, a lot of people have jumped to conclusions. A lot of people have said that Celeste's body was dismembered. I have not seen anyone official say that. I've just seen that her body had been decomposed, and it was in a state of decomposition, and that she had likely been dead for several weeks. A lot of people have jumped to conclusions about David's connection to this. He has hired Blair Burke, who is a high-profile attorney in LA. I really don't think we don't know enough, okay, to know whether she died of homicidal violence. We don't know. We don't know if her death was an accident. We don't know if she overdosed. We just don't know. So there have been a lot of questions about this. And her family, her funeral is, I believe, tomorrow. I saw on the GoFundMe page, like a little more than $24,000 has been raised for her family to lay her to rest. There's been discussion about her and David having matching tattoos. There was some song leaked of his on SoundCloud back in late 2023 that was called Celeste. So obviously there's a connection here. Her body ended up in the front trunk of his Tesla somehow. So how did it end up there? We don't know. But I'm not so sure. I think she was dismembered per se. If a body has been decomposing for a while, things can happen. I don't know if the decomposition may cause things to shift. I just don't know. I don't know. So I think we need to just take a deep breath, because nobody knows anything. Like, there really haven't been any big leaks coming out of this. The cops did apparently go to the house where he was living in Hollywood or Hollywood Hills or whatever, and investigated. They looked in the drains and things like that. Charles from TMZ was on saying something to that effect, that they went and, you do what you do in a death investigation. You go and look at where you believe the person was last seen or last living, that type of thing. So still a lot of questions We don't have a lot of answers, but I'll be keeping an eye on this. It's just really, really sad. Really, really sad. Like, it's so sad to me that she was continuously running away from home. And was she running away from home so many times and so often because she had, I don't know, like a boyfriend, like her mom believed? Is that why she was running away from home? Did she have like a bad home life? I don't know. So there's just a lot of questions. And like, what happened between the time she was last reported missing and now? So, hey, Hella. Hella thinks she overdosed. That's entirely possible. Entirely possible. I mean, sadly, it's entirely possible. So, this David guy, he's got a big time lawyer, and we'll just see what happens. Our next case is a really horrible case out of New Jersey. And it's about this very sweet, cute young girl. Excuse me, I need some water. Actually, there are two girls, two 17-year-old girls involved in this case. I'm going to see if I can pull up both of their photos. But this is Maria Nyatis, and she was born in Greece, but raised in New Jersey. And she was like basically a lifelong resident of New Jersey. There was another 17-year-old guy, and he allegedly, from what the reporting is, was stalking her and had been to her home months prior. She and her friend Isabella were killed this past Monday, September 29th. They were on an e-bike, and a 17-year-old boy is now charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for ramming into them at like 70 miles per hour. Apparently, after this, he goes home and gets on like a live stream on YouTube. Maria's funeral, I believe, was today. Her mother read a statement last night after her viewing. It's been a while since I've been to a funeral. I've been to so many funerals in my life. I hate going to funerals now. But I'm going to play a little bit of what her mother had to say. It's just really, really sad. She's a 17-year-old girl. She wanted to graduate from high school, and she wanted to go into like cosmetology, hair and makeup, that type of thing. That's what she hoped to do. So here is Maria's mother.
First, I want to thank you all for being here today, for showing up for Maria, and for standing beside me and my family during the hardest days of our lives. Your love, your prayers, and your presence mean more than words can say. My name is Fula. I'm not standing here today just as a mother, but as Maria's mother. And that is the greatest title I will ever hold. Maria was 17 years old, a high school senior, full of dreams, full of life, and full of love. She wasn't just my daughter. She was my best friend.
So apparently, this 17-year-old boy, he's charged as a juvenile with 2 counts of first-degree murder. I'm sure he'll be bound over to adult court eventually. He apparently was stalking Maria, according to neighbors, according to friends who've told, other news outlets about this. And his name is I'm so sorry, guys. The kid's name is escaping me now. It's Badaloro is his last name, and now his name is escaping me. I thought it was Victor or something, but I apologize if I'm messing that up. But obviously, I mean, come on, this kid had been like parking outside of her house. There had been an incident where the police were called. It's like, what in the heck was going on? So, Isabella, her friend, who was also killed, was on the e-bike with her. Her last name is Salas. Her funeral, I believe, is Monday. I think her visitation viewing was today. Actually, they wouldn't probably have a viewing given the circumstances of this, but her visitation, I think, was today.
My sunshine. The kind of girl who could walk into a room and light it up just by being herself. She had a laugh that could soften the hardest days and a heart that cared deeply for everyone around her. Maria had a passion for all things beautiful: music, makeup, hair, fashion, but it wasn't just about appearances. Maria believed in making people feel beautiful. When she talked about her dream of becoming a makeup artist, it wasn't just about glam. It was about helping people see the beauty in themselves that maybe they had forgotten.
I think the questions need to be asked. The questions need to be asked. So the police were apparently called. What the heck did the police do? And this kid's 17. He's still a minor. Were his parents made aware? Did his parents do anything? I mean, if you are stalking somebody, you've got some mental health issues for sure. So what on earth was going on? Okay, it's not Victor, it's Vincent. Okay, Vincent Badaloro. He's charged as a juvenile, as I mentioned, but he's 17. He's going to be bound over, I guarantee it.
She would practice for hours, watching tutorials, doing her friends' makeup for fun, and always leaving behind glitter, eyeshadow palettes, and a whole lot of love. She was going to graduate high school this year. She had plans, big ones. She was going to attend cosmetology school, start her own business one day. She had that sparkle, that ambition, that fire. There are no words that can truly describe the pain of losing your child. It's a silence that echoes louder than anything I've ever heard. It's waking up every morning wishing it was a nightmare.
So this mother and Isabella's mother and family are now mourning the loss of two 17-year-old girls, two kids who should have had their whole lives ahead of them. And some kid is just, accused of stalking Maria, won't leave her alone. And I mean, I need to know more about what the cops did. Did they do anything? What action?
Hoping to hear that sweet, "I love you, Mom, Dad." It's an emptiness in our home, in her room, in my arms. But today I choose not to speak only of grief. I choose to speak of Maria's light.
And this could be like grandma or something standing here. I mean, can you imagine
Her life may
talking about your 17-year-old child?
have been short, but it was powerful. She loved deeply. She gave generously. She dreamed boldly. And to Maria, my sweet girl, I will miss you every single day for the rest of my life. I will picture your smile, hear your laugh in my heart, and carry your dreams in my hand.
I just find this to be just like unimaginable. It's just so disgusting to me. So if you guys have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. I'm going to wrap it up here in a couple of minutes, but yeah, Kokomo, Indiana, thanks for being here tonight. 17 should be charged as an adult. Well, they have to start in juvenile court because he's 17. He'll likely, I think, be bound over. mean, there are probably some mental health issues, but that doesn't mean you get to ram somebody on an e-bike going 70 miles an hour. Sick. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. But I really find that to be just horrible. And it's like, and then you're this kid who potentially throws your whole life away, depending on how this case works out in New Jersey. Throw your whole life away. I mean, especially if you're charged as an adult, if you're convicted, like, you're done. Your life is over. It's just horrible. I'm scrolling through the comments to make sure I didn't miss anything that everybody was saying. I covered more cases than I usually cover in one sitting here tonight, but I had a lot to go through. Oh, hey, Eric Evans. Hey there. But I wanted to hit on a bunch of different ones, and it sounded like a lot of people were getting sick of hearing about the one guy over in Idaho. So I thought we should move on to some other cases. So please let me know, if you would, what cases you want me to talk about, because I think there are some other cases that we can discuss. I really want, I'm really looking forward to learning more about and seeing how the Charlie Kirk assassination probe unfolds and how the case against Tyler Robinson unfolds. I mean, he was apprehended fairly quickly, 33 hours. So they're talking about DNA evidence on the gun, all this stuff, the text messages. So let's see how that all unfolds once we actually get into the evidence. You know, and Melissa, hello, Melissa. Melissa, I owe you an email. Angenette, have you seen the new Ed Gein show? No, I have not. I don't watch a whole lot of shows. But wow. Ed Gein is a scary guy. Let me tell you that I lived in Wisconsin. And when I first moved up there, that was my first reporting job. And people told me about Ed Gein. He's the guy that I guess Silence of the Lambs, that character is kind of based on. And they told me about him. And I was like, oh God, that guy was from up here. And so they've got a lot of weird kind of murders and icky cases up in Wisconsin. It's kind of insane. So I appreciate, no, I have not seen the show, but I will check it out. I don't know if I want to. I would have to watch it at night, and it might freak me out. I don't know where these people get what is going on up here. It scares me, actually. But I think I'm going to wrap it up for tonight, guys. I really appreciate you tuning in. For those of you who don't like going through the live stream, I might chop a little bit of this up and post it as a standalone video. Also, stay tuned. I'm going to be working on my CrimeCon video. So I will do my best to get that posted. I know it's been a couple weeks since CrimeCon happened, and I met some of you there, which was awesome. So I will do my best to get that up very soon, and some other stuff. So thank you so much. Thanks to all the mods, Monty, Mel Mac, Monana. Is Webby here tonight? I apologize if she's here and I'm missing her. I'm scrolling through really quickly. I appreciate everybody showing up and coming out. But again, please let me know which cases you want to hear about, and we will do this again. Everybody have a great Saturday night. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.